One of the next steps here in the house is having some vinyl replacement windows installed. To make things a little cheaper on me, I'm going to be removing the windows myself, and this gets me out of paying the disposal fee that the window company would charge. So in this video I'm going to be removing these windows and then lining the rough openings with a new frame for the vinyl replacement windows to be mounted into. Now I already have pre-measured measurements that I did with the window company, so I'm going to have to stick to those and be careful not to make them too small or too big. So let's go ahead and get started. So removing the windows was fairly simple. I just used a flat bar and a hammer and pulled them all out. And the trim was actually redwood, so I'm going to be saving those for some sort of other little woodworking project. And the trim itself is what was holding the windows in, the exterior and interior trim. So the interior trim was already removed, so by popping that exterior trim off, the windows just lifted right out. And they were sort of heavy, but not too bad. Had help on this project. That's my dad that's making a guest appearance. He helped me out managing everything. And these window boxes were made out of both 1x12s ripped and then some 2x6 that was ripped for the bottom of the box that the window actually sits right on. So that's ripping the 2x6. Next step was just getting everything cut to length, and then I would start actually assembling those boxes. And so that's me in the background cutting everything to length. And we removed all the windows, sort of did all that all at once to where the house wasn't open too much. And then I assembled everything using pocket hole screws using this Craig jig. It's the K5. I got it just for this project. So it worked really good. And then I bought that set of pliers, a clamp, and I drilled 3 holes in the frame and used the center hole to hold it in place and just put screws in the 2 outside holes. So it works perfect. And then in the end, it's all nailed into that rough opening and secured even further. So assembling them is really easy with this jig, especially with that set of pliers, just holds it in place for you. That's slipping it in, test fitting it, and everything worked good. And the purpose for using these in general is to get everything to a consistent size and to square up the openings, because the windows are going to come perfectly square. So the rough opening might not be square, and plus it's not the size of the actual windows, so you make these boxes to fit. And I shimmed them in, luckily just having to use the 3/4 material, and then had a little side to side to be able to square them up. And this is just a little time lapse of me and my dad working on one of the rooms. In general, it's a fairly quick process. That's the kitchen window. That's the only double window in the house with that little center divider. And then part of the vinyl replacement window process is doing the aluminum trim on the outside. So I just ripped some 2x material to fill in from the trim over to the siding, and then just air nailed it in place, and that gives them something to wrap around. So with all that done, that sets us up for the window guys to come in, and I got Window World to do this. It's just a big name company, have good warranties and stuff, and they did a good job. I'm happy with it, and yeah, and they come in quick. They had every window in the house in probably 5 to 10 minutes, just sat in place, and then the guy would run back around, getting them all squared up and screwed into place, while this fellow was outside with his metal brake bending up all of the trim work, and he was very good at it. Of course, he does it every day, but it was amazing. That guy on the ladder would just get the dimensions, and he'd run back and holler the dimensions to the other guy. He'd bend them, and then they just ran them back and forth. And they did very quick work, and it was all very clean. It was a big improvement on the end. So there's one wrapped. And then the final step in the process is just caulking them up. They've got some sort of fancy caulk, and they run around and they caulk between the trim in the house and then the trim in the window. And so it gets a nice, nice seal. And there's everything done. Much improved from what the house used to look like. It was so much improvement that it really made it stand out how messy it was around the house. So I did a big cleanup right after they left. Ended up with quite the pile of trash. You know, you kind of underestimate how much is sitting around until you get it all in your truck, and you're like, wow. But yeah, that's that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and want to see more, click the red button on the screen now, and you'll get updates when I post future videos of this whole process of fixing up my house. And also have 2 other YouTube channels if you don't already know about them. One is called Square Inch, where I'm building a tiny house, and the other one's called The Homestead Craftsman, where I do mainly woodworking projects, but other projects are included on that channel. So check them out if you like. The links are in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.